All righty. Great. Well, thanks for joining us today. My name is Javier Rodriguez. I am a senior manager at the Institute for Study Abroad, also known as IFSA. We are a nonprofit provider of study abroad programs, partnering directly with the University of Michigan to bring computer science students here at UM. A couple of really phenomenal study abroad programs that provide you with the flexibility to continue your curriculum while abroad, so your degree track doesn't skip a beat back home. We'll be focusing on two unique programs, one in Prague, Czech Republic, and the other in London, England, in the UK. We'll be covering a lot of information, so let's get started. Um, Confirming that you can see my presentation on this screen. Perfect. All right. Our first program, as I mentioned, is located in Prague, Czech Republic. This is but a small window into the picturesque and vibrant city of Prague. This photos of the St. Charles Bridge crossing into Old Town Square, which would be found right behind the archway in the background that you can see there. So let's get started. The first program that we'll be highlighting today is my personal favorite here at IFSA, the Tech Career Accelerator. You can see on the screen a few key details and highlights. Most importantly, the program dates that can be found on the top right hand corner. For those IPE students that are here with us today, you'll all be eyeing any winter term options for future programs. My absolute favorite part about this program is that it's a true partnership between our two institutions, and it was designed specifically for you. Our program development team got together with the faculty and staff from the CS department and other folks here at UM to not only design this program and its courses, but to also ensure that you're able to balance high-level computer science coursework while exploring what life will be like in the tech sector post-graduation. And that'll be done by enhancing your professional skills that our employers are seeking and participating in real-world challenge projects at the professional level. While Michigan often touts a large group of students for this program from semester to semester, you'll not only be with fellow Wolverine classmates, but in a cohort of students from colleges and universities from all over the states as well. So you're probably wondering, how do we do all of that? In large part through the core course that's offered in this program, the leadership development for the tech sector. I'll let you all read through the highlights that are on the slide, but I'd like to mention that this class is really designed to augment your academic pursuits through a curriculum that combines integrated professional skills development with an in-depth look at how the tech sector operates, particularly in Prague, but in general as well, in addition to providing the carefully curated opportunities for active and applied learning that you see on the screen, such as the client or challenge-based group projects, company visits, the panel discussions, and really a whole lot more. Last but certainly not least, on this slide here, I want to mention is the certification that you receive through the completion of the program through our partners at the Leadership Edge. You can see an example of that on the screen here. This will not only support you in how you use your experience abroad for future employment, but how you're able to speak about it as well, and how you're able to present it to any future employers. Um, on this next slide here, you'll see a robust but definitely not all-encompassing list of some of the additional courses that would be possible in addition to that required core course. As you can see, we have a great list of computer science courses available, but also a smattering of other subject areas where you can mix and match and take courses in and outside of your major as well. For my IPE students in attendance, the highlighted courses in red are eligible for UM transfer credit. For my LSA students in attendance, only the CS classes are pre-approved to come back as department level credits. Any additional classes that you would want to take would need to be evaluated by your LSA academic advisor. I'd love to invite Callie from the CGIS office to add anything that I might have missed there, but LSA students can also work with her should you have any questions.
Yeah, nope, that's pretty good. The only major thing is that some of the courses count for certain things for IBE students that it doesn't count for our LSA students because of those flex text courses. So some students may be taking like the communications for the tech sector for a upper level like writing requirement, the engineering version. But the LSA students, you have to do the upper level writing requirement at home, unfortunately. But when it comes to the computer science side of things, it's very similar across the board of what kind of credit you're going to be able to get. It just differs a little bit on how we handle transferring the other things, which I'll talk about a little bit more when we get to kind of like more of the specifics about how UM works. Yeah.
So thanks, Callie. All in all, if you're interested in the academics portion, just always double check with your UM academic advisor as well as the folks in your study abroad offices as well. Alrighty. Oh, go back one here. So let's talk about where you'll be. On this slide, you'll see a small map of Prague. Basically, everything that's east of the river is central. Oh, I didn't know these went out like this. There we go. Um, So as you can see, basically everything east of the river is central Prague. Prague is split into neighborhoods labeled by numbers, as you can see on the top left picture here. So it's Prague 1, Prague 2, so on and so forth. Students will live and go to class in Prague 2 or the Praha 2 neighborhood. You'll be in IFSA residential student apartments, similar to the building that's pictured here, and I think like a salmon or pinkish color. Um, it's a IFSA residential student apartment building. It's within 5 to 15 minutes walking to the IFSA program center. The beautiful Villa Grabovka, which is pictured on the bottom right, is the IFSA program center. The villa itself, you can kind of see on the map portion here, maybe if you have better eyes than I do. Um, the villa itself is where this red dot is surrounded by a beautiful park with lots of areas for studying and really any other activities. It also has an amazing overview of the city right behind essentially right behind the building, which absolutely no picture could really do it justice. But it's just a really great place for our students to spend their time when they're in Prague. This would essentially be your campus. All of your classes would be held here at that center. And the center itself will have areas dedicated for students as well, such as common rooms, study areas, places for snacks and coffee and things like that. So yeah, just a wonderful place to spend your time, and then some additional details there of what you can find in the area. Awesome. In addition to the academics and housing, IFSA will provide you with a variety of ways to really immerse yourself culturally with not just your immediate surroundings in Prague, but regional areas of Czech Republic as well. These activities are meant to take you outside of the classroom for, really co-curricular immersion so that you can learn more about where you'll be living while you're having a little bit of fun along the way. A couple of examples are an excursion to the city of Pilsen, where the Pilsner beer was invented. You'll tour the oldest Pilsner brewery in the world. You'll talk about how they use technology in their business model. You'll also have an opportunity to do a hike in the Silent Valley just outside of Prague. It's a small Bohemian town near Prague that has really great valley for hiking. It's an opportunity for our students who are on a tech-based program to really just detach and disconnect while they learn about Czech culture as well. So a little bit of a preview there in that forest picturesque option that you see on the slide. And then you see titled there just a few of the other excursions and activities that we provide. One of the really awesome ones that we do is that Czech Buddy Pizza Night. So for our students that participate on this program in Prague, it's a really great way to get some cultural immersion with local students. So we'll actually bring some Czech university students from two of the local universities in the area to talk to our students about, what it's like to be a college student in Prague, where to find the best food, where the best study spots are in the city, things like that. So just a really great opportunity for our students as well. Awesome. So Uh, you all might have picked up on the fact that we have two groups of students represented today, those LSA CGIS students and the engineering IPE students. You'll each have different options to choose from when applying through mCompass for these programs. On the slide here, you'll see what each option will look like for you. Keep in mind that the CGIS and IPE students may have different requirements and different ways to apply. So just make sure that you are really looking at the specifics of those program options. I'll have information on your advisors who are present here today at the end of the presentation so you all can get a bit familiar and reach out to them with any questions as well. If you have any IFSA related questions, you can feel confident in reaching out to our dedicated enrollment counselor for this program, who is Eleni Katsarelis. Eleni is an expert on all things Prague. And she'll really be there to support you from the moment that you begin an application until the moment that you arrive on site. You might even catch her in Prague during your orientation if you're lucky. There she is pictured with some of our Michigan students at one of their orientations their first week on location. In the interest of times, I know we've got a few more slides to cover. I encourage you all to either type some questions in the chat or just save them for later so that you can address them when we've got a little bit of time for the Q&A, or you can share them with your UM advisors. That wraps up the very short and sweet information on the Prague program. We can dive into any specific questions you have in a little bit here, but want to jump into our next location and our next program, which is London, which we'll be highlighting today in London, England, in the UK. I know most of you are familiar with London, but this is another very small window into central London with the ever so popular double-decker bus and the illustrious Big Ben next to the House of Parliament. So, very different program from our previously mentioned Career Accelerator here in the sense that the predominant focus isn't on exploring the tech sector or exploring, careers post-graduation. The IFSA Study in London program is our traditional center-based model for study abroad programs, wherein you'll be in a cohort of, as I mentioned earlier, not just UM students, but students from all over the US, taking classes at our study center located in the heart of London. On the slide here, you'll see another robust but not all-encompassing list of courses available to you. Reminder that the courses in red are eligible for IPE students to get UM transfer. I won't go into the rigmarole for the LSA students again, but we'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly. This program, given it doesn't focus on the tech sector, also provides a wider variety of courses and subjects to choose from for our students. In addition to business, biosciences, I should say, psychology courses, and a variety of other arts and humanities options to choose from. Should there be any students with overlapping or double majors, or maybe don't need, a full array of computer science courses while they're abroad as well. And as a reminder, always check with your UM academic advisors for any questions on distribution requirements. So here is a sneak peek into the IFSA Study Center, located near Oxford Street in the heart of London, which is a popular street that has lots of shops and restaurants for our students to frequent. It's a short walk to the tube. It's open weekly for our students to access plenty of common areas and study spaces within the center. In addition, you'll have access to free coffee, free water, free snacks, which is usually a favorite for our students. I wish I would have enlarged this picture in the top left, but it's in the Mayfair Square area. Just beautiful, beautiful area for our students to visit for the London Study Center.
The one thing I will mention, if you wouldn't mind going back real quick,
Oh yeah,
Javier.
by all means.
So I just recently toured this center in a trip to London in October. And the classroom spaces and the lounge areas for students are great. The one thing I will say is there are a lot of stairs and there is no elevator. So if you have any mobility or any issues of that nature, it's definitely going to be something going to want to be considering when making your decision between these programs or between other programs as well. Just in general, there's a lot of room for growth still needed in Europe and across the world for accessibility. So just please keep that in mind, because that was something that I, who am very used to elevators, was struggling a little bit to deal with.
Thank you so much, Elise, for that added context. She is very right. For those who are able, you that wouldn't need a gym while you're in London. I can just share that much. Um, awesome. So, let's talk a little bit about where you'll be living. So for our Study in London students, you'll have the benefits of modern student housing while on the program, with single rooms that have ensuite bathrooms and an array of on-location amenities like a study lounge, a gym, game room, laundry service, and a variety of other amenities that would be provided for you. It's staffed 24/7 and even has cleaning provided every couple of weeks. So it's a really kind of posh way of doing London, if you will, while you're doing your study abroad. Um, yeah, just a really great option for our students as far as accommodations there. Um, and with a different program comes different excursions and also different activities. Listed here are just a few examples of activities and excursions that we've done in the past for our London cohorts. We do like to keep these fresh for our students, and our staff as well, as they have to do these, every semester essentially. But one of my personal favorites is the cooking contest for our students. That's actually hosted in the famous White Tent, where they host a Great British Bake Off. I don't know if any of you are fans. I personally am a big fan of the show. But yeah, it's a great experience for our students. Um, London itself is lively and really full of culture. So while a lot of activities that you'll be participating in are local to really take advantage of everything that the city has to offer, many of our excursions that we partake are also regional. So you get the most out of not just London and the central London area, but most of the greater UK and greater England and the UK area as well. All right. So, once again, you can visit mCompass for the full details on these programs. Similarly, CGIS and IPE students will have two different options to choose from for this program on mCompass that may include different details and different requirements. So, just again, be sure to speak to your study abroad advisors and your academic advisors with any questions as you explore applying to these programs. And again, just a quick snapshot here of what you would find when searching for IFSA London on the mCompass website. Alrighty. For IFSA Study in London, just like Prague, IFSA has a dedicated enrollment counselor for this program too. My colleague Kevin Cañas is pictured here. He's there to really support you 100% of the way from the moment that you start an application to the moment that you arrive on site. Kevin might also even surprise you for your first week of orientation. Oftentimes, we might send our enrollment counselors to really just support during that first week of orientation, and some Michigan students have been lucky enough to see two of our enrollment counselors in person. Questions on how to apply, housing, academics, anything like that that's IFSA related can be addressed to Kevin, and you see his email listed on the screen there. As I start to kind of wrap up the presentation here, I just want to say thank you for sticking with me to this point. We've discussed with a high-level overview, two distinct programs that support CS students and why they're great options for you. But I wanted to spend a moment to talk about why I believe IFSA is also a great option for you too when it comes to studying abroad. So, as I mentioned earlier, IFSA has a really wonderful partnership with the University of Michigan that allows us to provide students with superb financial support, personalized service at every step of the way from pre to post program. As you can see on the screen, included in your IFSA program is housing that's guaranteed and taken care of for you before you even arrive on site. You'll have 24/7 health and safety support, in addition to a dedicated team on the ground who are really expertly trained in a variety of ways to help and support you. It's not a traditional um, university study abroad experience. We're very well of that, so very well aware of that, and so our team is really poised to support you if you wanted to, join a club while you're in while you're in London, play a sport, do some sort of special interest groups or things like that that you would traditionally find in a university experience. We do have university partners in the area that we are more than happy to help support you all with that type of guidance and things like that. And last but certainly not least, program orientations, visa and passport guidance, and really so much more. I think that is where IFSA kind of breaks the mold, is the type of support that we're able to provide our students really throughout the entirety of the process. So if you ever have any questions on that, you can always feel free to reach out to our enrollment counselors. Um, so if you're interested in applying to these programs or just want to check out more information on the specifics for UM students, be sure to check out the specific CGIS or IPE programs within mCompass to view all of the eligibility information, the detailed application instructions, and more. Please remember that for the two programs that we listed, you'll need to complete two applications when applying. So the mCompass application and the IFSA application on our website through our student portal, essentially so both institutions have all the information that we need to facilitate your time abroad. A short and sweet slide here for our IPE students interested in winter term programs. Your lead advisor is Tiffany. You can feel confident in reaching out to her with any and all questions for both Prague and London programs. A reminder to you all that peer advising is available for you in Chrysler 245 at the North Campus, Monday through Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. And there is her email contact information listed for you as well. And then a few additional slides here with information for the CGIS LSA students. Cal, if you want to jump in, feel free. Otherwise, I can share information on these as well.
Absolutely. I can answer. And on my next slide, I also talk a little bit about for all students, so not just relevant only to IPE student or to the CGIS students. But hello, officially. So I am a program advisor, and I'm also the general advisor on anything STEM, including our computer science programming. So if you have really general questions and are trying to figure out, differences between locations and things like that, I'm generally your best bet to get started with. I do admit to a bias. I studied abroad in Prague myself for a semester and absolutely loved it as a student. I've also visited this program. What he did not tell you is that there is a scary hill that you have to climb up to leave the valley. It's very, very pretty, but you will get a workout trying to leave to go home at the end of the day. But that's my information. Elise, you want to introduce yourself real quick too?
Sure. Yes. So my name is Elise. I work with Callie as one of the other CGIS Study Abroad advisors. I primarily advise for the UK portfolio of programs that we have, including this one. So CS questions are going to be best directed towards Callie. London specific things are going to be directed towards me. I know that can be a little confusing. Feel free to CC us on emails so we're all in the loop together. Um, the one thing I will say is I have the same bias as Callie of I studied abroad in London. So I also have that perspective myself. I did just visit in October. So the London program was just added this year. So the students that are currently abroad, it is our first semester of having a cohort there. So we will definitely, be sure to get as much feedback as we can and hopefully be able to provide some more insight about the U of M experience on that program.
Awesome.
Awesome. And so for LSA students, so anytime you're interested, if you're interested in any of these the programs for any terms, you would apply through us. IPE does not offer a fall term option. So if you are a IPE CS student and you are interested in this program but want to go in the fall, you are allowed to go through us. I know I was chatting with a student recently who is engineering, and it generally is a pretty similar experience. To be honest, when I was talking to students abroad, they were like, we don't really remember that we're from the different colleges. It's just very much of a similar experience that they're having. We do have an FAQ for the Computer Science in Prague program. in place. You can also find it linked on the M-Compass brochure. And we do have peer advising as well available Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on most days except Wednesday when we end early. On the next slide, I can get into a little bit more of like the meat of how things
Bef
kind of work.
Before we move forward, Callie, I just realized, and thank you, Shreya, for posing this question in the chat. Would you mind explaining what CGIS and or what the difference between LSA, CGIS, and IPE is for the students?
Absolutely. So LSA, the College of LSA is we are at CGIS, the Center for Global and Intercultural Study. We are the LSA Study Abroad office. So we primarily serve LSA students. And when it comes to CS, we primarily serve LSA CS students as they are our kind of in-house students. And then IPE is the International Programs in Engineering, and they are located in engineering up on North Campus, and they primarily serve engineering students with the occasional other students on the thing. So basically, we just are the study abroad offices within the two different colleges. And that is why there's kind of this separation between, like you go to IPE if you're an engineering side, and you go to CGIS if you're LSA side, because we kind of have like shared programs. Yeah,
Awesome. Thanks, Callie, and thank you,
if that
Shreya,
helps.
for the question as well.
Yeah. And so some important notes. First of all, applicable to all Michigan students. So you must complete AICS 281 before being able to go on the program is something we will check in your application. You have to complete it with a passing grade before the start of the program. We do have students that sometimes will do it the term right before going abroad, so that is possible. But your admittance will be conditional on your successful completion of EECS 281. Some courses do have additional prerequisites, so do look out for that. I know on the CGIS brochure, we specifically state what those prerequisites are. The CSE department only allows students to earn their capstone requirement and take one course for upper level CS credit in Prague. So like that leadership in the tech sector course is it can cover your capstone. And then you can take another class for a general upper level CS department credit that will contribute towards your credits needed for graduation. And that's specifically in Prague. And then for London and other locations, you can just take a single course for upper level CS department credit. It comes in as like a 401X credit. So do be mindful of that. So you can take a third, or in this case, second, or with the London program, second course as desired. But a third course does not come back as upper level CS. There is that restriction that you can only have that one general credit. But if you do the Prague version of the program, you can take two classes towards the major. If you do the other one, you can take one class towards major. So be mindful of that. And then all students who are doing Prague program are mandated to take the essential Czech class for 1 credit and leadership development in the tech sector for 3 credits. I believe the London program does not have any mandated classes. That's what I
Nope.
thought. It's a little bit more free for all on that one.
Also,
Particularly,
it's in English, so there's, not the language barrier mixed in.
that's true. And then available for CS or applicable to, or sorry, LSA students in particular. So any non-CS courses that are taken abroad must be evaluated by your other major or minor or general distribution advisors. We don't have the pre-approval process, unfortunately, in the same way for everything that is not CS. And do note that all courses are taken for a grade, unless you elect pass fail, though you cannot take any of the CS classes that you take pass fail due to LSA policy. This is one of the differences you may run into between the IPE versus the CGIS students. Is IPE does everything as transfer credit, and we do everything as graded credit. So yeah. And then I think we had one final slide with some shared links. So like Elise said, the London program is really new. We're running it for the first time. And so we don't have any blogs about those experiences yet, but I did want to include that there are a couple of blogs about the experiences of students. On the Prague version of the program. And there's also two e-advisors of these are two students who did the Prague program last year, either last winter or just came back this fall, and are open to taking questions if you have particular questions for them. But yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Callie. And while they are not UM specific, we also have some student stories on our website, should you wish to learn more about what students experience on our Study in London program as well. So that wraps up our presentation for today. I'll go ahead and stop sharing, um, and I'll stop recording as well to give folks an opportunity to see if they have any questions they'd like to ask.
I know